Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar, getting trippy, hippie with the new Keeley Electronics Eccos delay and looper. Before I tell you about this very cool pedal, take 5 seconds and push that shiny red subscribe button below. Great, thanks very much, appreciate that. Okay, so let me tell you about this pedal while I delete that last loop I just did. Okay, it's gone. So what I love about Robert Keeley effects is that they take chances. They put out so many pedals and they're always doing something different. And this is a very interesting pedal because there's a lot of delay pedals on the market right now with cool modulation. But by and large, most of them are a chorusing modulation. What they did here is, what Keeley did is went with a flanger. To me, flangers are so much more complex and interesting. And that's kind of, I don't know, that's where my heart is. Probably because that flangey sound that they're getting here is very reminiscent of that Hendrix Kramer studio time. And to me, it's a little more experimental, a little more, I don't know, more options. It gets a little more dangerous. So I love that. Let me tell you the basic details. But before I show you what's in this pedal, I'll tell you how I'm recording it. This is my 61 ES355, and I've actually got a Keeley Red Dirt overdrive on the ground to give me a little dirt in front of this thing should we want to go that way. Keeley's being powered with a True Tone. It's going into a 64 concert amp that I'm miking with an SM57. And that's running into a Axe interface and then into Pro Tools. So basically, guitar, overdrive, pedal, old Fender amp. Okay, so there's true stereo, it's a true stereo delay. There's stereo ins, which is great, and then stereo outs. So you can feed whatever crazy stereo effects into it, and they're gonna stay stereo throughout, which is great. Down here, you have 3 presets, which I think is really important in a pedal like this. Because the controls, there's time, rate, feedback, depth, blend, tap, but here's where it gets interesting. Hold down this feedback, and a lot of these have secondary functions. What we came in on was one of my presets. I went for like kind of an echoplexy kind of sound is what I was going for, and I saved that on number 2, thinking that'd be my big rock and roll setting. The other setting, the next setting, I went with kind of a dotted thing, which brings me to tempos. You have tap tempo here, or you can run a tap tempo off to a remote pedal. But what I love about the tempo settings, you can set it right here with time, tap it, or use the tap in conjunction with the different subdivisions. You can get a quarter, or you can get a dotted eighth, or an eighth note, or a triplet. What I did in the center, I did a big quarter kind of thing. For number 3, I went with a dotted thing, and with number 1, I went with a kind of a rockabilly sort of thing, because those are my own kind of personal preferences. So here I am, my first preset. Let me make sure I'm there. Yeah, that's my first preset. That flashing light indicates that's where I am. Now, what I love about this, turn up that depth. And the rate, and you really get this great trippy almost. There, that's the full seasick thing. But it's almost like a little, it's a little bit like a Leslie. You get that Doppler effect, or you can kind of tame it where it's more chorusy. But I love that. So my next preset, just hit this, go one over, and that'll get me there. That I went with a dotted thing. And what I would do with this is turn that down and go like around there. Sort of like a. That stuff is just fun. So anyway, those my two settings, two presettings. The last presetting I went with is kind of a rockabilly thing. I wanted to get like an analog, like a nasty analog thing, kind of like a. Again, that's just my own personal bag if this pedal is mine. Okay, next features. The looper, which we got into a little bit in the beginning, is pretty amazing. Number one, my first looper came on the Line 6 green delay pedal, and the thing was huge. You had all of very little time. It ran out of time very quickly. This goes for a full 2 minutes in mono or 60 seconds in stereo, has endless layers. And here's what I really dig about it. Once you get that loop going, you can bring in or out your delay as you want while you're playing it. And you can even get into that freeze setting that I was showing a little bit earlier. Well, just for funsies, let me show you that shit I'm talking about. So yeah, that freeze setting is so cool. How great is that, right? Just hold down that tap and it'll freeze. So you give yourself this kind of bed underneath what you're playing, and it even works while you're using the looper. So I love that. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, and as you saw, there's a reverse and a halftime on the looper as well. So that's great. So not only is there tap there, but you can run a tap out on the floor, which is great. Also, there's an expression pedal line out that you can assign any parameter you want to, which is huge. Although the controls on the face panel are fairly simple, rate, time, feedback, blend, and depth, and tap, bypass, you've got secondary functions when you engage the feedback that make it pretty complex. The learning curve is going to take you a little while. It's going to take a while to kind of learn what they all do, but once you get into tweaking it, it's just so much fun. In fact, let me just show you some of this. Just great for that shoegaze. And then you get into the rates. And I found that when the rate's up and the depth's low, it's almost kind of more chorusing. Anyway, this thing is just fun. So good on you, Keeley. Very interesting pedal. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, all that social media crap. Hell, subscribe to the hard copy of the magazine, have it sent right to your home. This is John Bolger. Till next time.